For an understanding of destiny, we must review the architecture of your whole self. Long before you were born, your evolutionary intentions for this lifetime were carefully considered and mapped out by your Oversoul as a blueprint for the destiny that you are living now. The whole of you exists as both your non-physical Oversoul and as your higher self, descending into multiple physical realities and embodiments. Thus, the term Oversoul indicates a choreographer of many incarnations, for it orchestrates and oversees your innumerable parallel lifetimes. Say this is the energy of your Oversoul, right? There's just, you go on forever into eternity in every direction across space and time, forwards and backwards, upwards, downwards. Like, you are God energy that exists everywhere. But then what happens is your non-physical Oversoul starts to descend on different planets, okay? Different parts of your soul. So each of these would be a higher self, okay? Because it's a part of your soul that's decided to play a certain character on a certain planet, okay? So you get to this planet. Here's you. Yay, I made it to this planet. Oh my God, so great, right? But here's the thing. As Hathor teaches us, this higher self could be dropping, or your Oversoul could be dropping multiple characters down on the same earth at the same time, right? So you could be in multiple human bodies right now in parallel realities. Here's my crazy little sketch, okay? So you've got this eternal energy with all the qualities of God. Like, there's countless divine qualities of God that are created as a hologram of you as an Oversoul. And the reason why the Ascended Masters wanted me to use the term Oversoul is because your Oversoul is overseeing. You could think about the Oversoul like overseeing all of these incarnations that are happening simultaneously. So your Oversoul is like airdropping all these different parts of your soul down to different planets, right? And then your Oversoul is airdropping down multiple parts of your soul to different incarnations that are all happening at the same time. Look, there's you, there's you, there's you, there's you, there's you. You're everywhere in all these different bodies. So exciting, because I've been wanting to talk about this for a really long time in a way that I knew people weren't getting it. But when I'm in that channeled state, I'm like, this is the most incredible news ever. Like, could we get with this? So this is who you really are. All of this energy, all of this light, all of this primordial, invincible power. Your soul, which we call Oversoul because it's overseeing all of these incarnations. This is why you're sovereign. This is why anything happening in this world doesn't matter in the sense of like it has no power over you. It's because this is who you really are. You are energy, you are light. And you are actually so powerful that you are taking aspects of this energy and you are airdropping it down to planetary matrices. This is how cool you are, how cool we all are. It's the everything, okay? This is your Oversoul going out into every direction across eternity simultaneously. There are no limits to your Oversoul. Your Oversoul is the core of your soul. If you could think about an eternal, unlimited, non-localized core, which is, source consciousness. Every higher self is a part of your Oversoul. It's an aspect of your Oversoul. So your Oversoul is then airdropping down to a planetary matrix, part of your whole self. All right? And it's like being in a video game where you pick an avatar. You're like, okay, my soul was like, go be Kaia Ra in this lifetime. But I've been other characters at other lifetimes. Ironically, they're all happening right now in the same moment because this is quantum reality. That's the truth of quantum reality. So this is me as Kaia Ra. This could be me in Egypt and like a couple thousand years ago. This could be me in, I don't know, maybe the Great Plains 200 years ago. But at the same time, I could be over here on a planet in Sirius, and I could be over here helping out my star family in the Pleiades, and they are all happening simultaneously. Why? Because your Oversoul is orchestrating all of it simultaneously. Now, when you start to activate your divine genome in your human body, right? Your one little human body, because your electrons exist everywhere across all of the universe simultaneously, your electrons are communicating to all of your other bodies. How cool is that? So if you activate your divine genome with the Sophia code, Mother Mary, the Ascended Masters, in this body, and Hathor's initiation, she clearly talks about this in her chapter. You can send those activations to all of your lifetimes. Step 1. All right. Step 2, when you activate your divine genome, you flip the light switches on, you get these chakras opened up, right? And you connect to the core of a planet, right? Say this is Earth, this particular planet is Earth. What happens? You start to open up the crown chakra and your heart, ultimate stargate is your heart, and you start communicating with your Oversoul. You open up the portal to go directly back to your Oversoul. And what does that mean? Oh, you are breaking the glass ceiling of this planetary matrix. Boom! By planet Earth, by Luciferian agendas, by all limitations of the Earth plane. See you never. I'm going back to my source where instantaneous miracles and divine knowing exist. This is what the Sophia Code is shouting from the rooftops. You have access to all of this and all of this. Incredible, right? You are incredible. This is why I talk about how you are a miracle in motion. Literally, even just the fact that you have a bazillion electrons in your body that are connecting you to all of your parallel lifetimes across a multiverse. What? Miracle. You are a miracle. So when you start to really consciously wake up, take a bunch of red pills, right? Like in the Matrix, like chomp those red pills, wake up and understand that what's going on with humanity right now, most human beings are caught only in this Matrix. They have no idea that they can dial back home to their soul. They have no idea that they can literally, remember how we create in that column of light? Where you sit in your circle and we create the column of light that goes to the center of the earth, and then we create the column of light that goes back to the 7th plane. Your Oversoul exists in the 7th plane. This is the highest aspect of who you are, exists in God. I'm going to write it in big letters. You exist in God communion. So no matter what you experienced in trauma, no matter what kind of pain you're experiencing right now in life, there's a part of you that's never been traumatized. There's a part of you that exists completely in union with God always. And this is why our Oversoul is okay with sending you down to these crazy planets. And some of these planets are actually false prison matrices that are entrapping species. But you're like, no problem. I'm sovereign. I'm holy. I'm divine. I will airdrop down as an angel to that planet because I'm going to remember how to activate all my chakras. I'm going to remember how to activate the divine genome within me. I'm going to remember this God connection. And so I will be a light in that world. I will open the doors to this communion and I will bring that into this world through my human embodiment. Now it just looks like a big mess. But isn't that funny? Because that's what it can feel like when we're in a human body. It can feel like, what? Especially when we first incarnate, because many, many souls go through an amnesia process when you land inside this avatar. There's a lot of souls that are being born now that don't experience as much amnesia, like, star seeds and all. Like, if you've known since you were a child, you were here for a big reason, you probably had less amnesia than others when you incarnated into your body. It doesn't matter. I don't want anybody comparing themselves to anyone else about how, awakened they were in babyhood. It's like, that's not the point. The point is when you start to wake up in your human form and open the doors of reality to, it's not about, everybody's like, I want to see angels. I want to see ascended masters. You know what the ascended masters and the angels want to see? They want to see you remember this. They want to see you. They don't care if you see them or not. That's not important. They're just there to help you do this. You're the master in this lifetime. You're the angel that came here to fulfill your destiny. That's what's really happening in this lifetime. If you can remember this highway of light exists within you, and where's the door? What's the stargate to step inside this communion? This is what I'm talking about. Oh, Kaia Ra's talking about sovereignty and communion again. Why does she keep talking about it? I'm talking about this. I'm going to start making these drawings over and over again. So I'm talking about the fact that your higher self is like a messenger from your divinity into this world that then assembles all of the electrons to manifest the human X factors that are going to create the avatar of you in your lifetime. All right. And so when your oversoul takes a portion of its energy and descends down into a planetary matrix, that's the title we are giving to higher self. You have to understand that every higher self is you. It's not like a bunch of, just because you're in different avatar character bodies, it doesn't mean that it's not you. This is you. Your soul is you. And your soul has the power to airdrop down as much of your energy as it wants in as many bodies and on as many planets as it wants to be on. It's all you. So, for example, last year I've been uncovering a past life it's just been a lot of intense healing for me to work through. And I was praying in a church, and I saw that the moment I died in this particular lifetime, I literally went from that body immediately into this body. Sometimes when your oversoul extracts the higher self energy and brings it back up to here, you hang out here for a while, but that's not what happened between that lifetime and this lifetime. I went from that lifetime immediately into another body. It was as though those two lifetimes were one. I mean, it went up and then down within a fraction of a second. When I was going through that meditation and discovering that information, what I realized was, oh, wow, I might have been a completely different human being, but I was still me in that body and in those circumstances and for that particular mission. That was me at that point in my soul's evolution. Now, Hathor talks about, Mother Mary as a Hathor, is like, Hathor talks about how all the information that you gather from every life experience can come with you into other lifetimes. And this is why your oversoul likes incarnating into these worlds so much. This is why these worlds are classrooms. Now, Earth happens to be a very intense classroom right now. The stakes are high, right? There's a lot of life and death stakes that are happening right now. And so when we arrive in our human bodies into a planetary matrix that has such extreme polarities, we can often wonder, what was I thinking? Why did I decide to come into this body? Somebody dropped me off on the wrong planet. I want the spaceship to come back and pick me up, right? But Mother Mary is saying in this part of her chapter is like, hey, no matter how you may currently feel about your human life, you chose this and you wanted this. Your very own divinity, your eternal, invincible divinity coordinated all of these details, and the spaceship did not drop you off on the wrong planet. You chose this. Now, if you've experienced a lot of trauma in your early life, like I did, that's a lot to take in. What's the hardest part about that? Is it forgiving those who might have betrayed you or harmed you? I'll tell you what, from my personal experience, I can tell you that hasn't been the hardest part. The hardest part for me in reconciling with myself about writing a destiny that included 18 years of rape, torture, and atrocities, the hardest part for me has been forgiving myself for volunteering for that mission, because I did not have to come and fulfill that mission. I know that with all of my heart and every cell of my body. I chose that mission. I had to forgive myself for choosing 18 years of rape and atrocities and torture and military programs. I had to forgive myself for that. So that's a lot to forgive yourself for. No matter how big the purpose is to serve, no matter how many people it's going to help and has already helped, I have to live with myself that I said that was okay based on my knowledge of this, my soul's knowledge of this, right? Writing this part of Mother Mary's chapter was so healing for me because it reaffirmed for me as I channeled it, yes, I chose this. Hey, does that mean I chose this to say that what happened wasn't important or minimize the impact on my life? Heck no. This isn't about making what happened in those experiences right, because there's nothing right about rape or torture. It's all wrong. It's evil. You know, what I'm sharing about is like, and I chose that was going to be a part of my destiny to fuel an international movement. And when you start to understand that, like, we choose destinies that can rewrite your family lineage, that can rewrite history, right? We start to understand that we do have the invincible power to heal from all wounds because of this. We're not pulling from just our human mind and our human heart. We're pulling from this communion between you and the greater God, or source, great spirit, whatever that is for you, that created this you. Look at what a miracle you are. God created you to be this invincible. And when you come to a point in your healing journey from trauma and from the pains and the wounds of the past, where you start to identify that this was a part of your destiny to fulfill in this lifetime, whatever you have survived, whatever you were healing from, and that the next step is to forgive yourself. What happens when we forgive ourselves? This is why I'm creating this mentor journey in January. It's like, why is forgiving ourselves so important? Because then it frees us up to fulfill our divine purpose with passion, with commitment, and with a lot of self-love, because serving a mission in this world requires a constant practice of self-love and self-compassion, because not everybody's going to say thank you when you show up to serve your mission, when you show up to serve your divine purpose, when you show up to like help people out. Some people will say, F you, I don't want your help. And by the way, I think you're blah, 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 fill in the blank. But there will be many people that do say thank you. You just got to understand that, like, showing up to your purpose, showing up to your destiny, it's not about whether people say thank you or not. It's about whether or not you want to forgive yourself and free yourself up to be the master that you came here to be the master that you already are, right? The more we wake up, the more we start consciously embodying this dynamic of our oversoul in human form, oh my God, this is how the masters become ascended masters, right? Let's do a kindergarten diagram of what an ascended master is. An ascended master is someone on a planet that woke up so many times in their human form that they literally either take their body back up here, or they just leave the body behind, and their soul, they consciously return to the oversoul so many times that they just merge back into this light completely and start serving from other higher realms of creation.